Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Fun English Channel. I'm your host, John, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today. How's everyone doing?
And I'm Sarah. We are absolutely thrilled that you're here with us. Today's episode is all about speaking like a pro in English, how to sound confident, fluent, and like you really know what you're talking about.
That's right. Whether you're giving a big presentation at work, chatting with friends, or just trying to sound a bit more natural in your daily conversations, we've got some awesome tips for you today.
Exactly. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if your delivery is lacking, those ideas might get lost.
And the good news is you don't need to be a native speaker or have perfect grammar to sound like a pro. With just a few tricks and techniques, you'll be able to speak confidently and fluently, even if English is your second language.
That's what we're all about here at Fun English, making learning practical, fun, and useful. So, let's get started, shall we?
Absolutely. Okay, here's the first tip we have for you today. Tip number 1 is confidence is key. And I can't emphasize this enough. Have you ever heard someone speak, and even if their English isn't perfect, you can't help but think, wow, they sound so confident, they must know what they're talking about.
Oh, for sure. And it's not just about what they're saying, but how they're saying it. Confidence makes a huge difference in how others perceive you. I mean, you could be speaking about something totally ordinary, like, I like coffee, but if you say it confidently, people will think, hey, this person really loves coffee.
Ah, totally. It's like when you're on a first date or in a job interview. It's not just about answering questions perfectly. It's about showing that you believe in what you're saying. And that's what gives you that pro feeling.
Exactly. So how do you build that confidence? Because let's be honest, it's not always easy, right?
Oh, absolutely. Confidence takes practice. One thing I always suggest is preparation. If you're nervous about an upcoming conversation or presentation, the best thing you can do is prepare. Practice what you're going to say ahead of time, whether it's with a friend, in front of a mirror, or even recording yourself.
And you know what I've learned, John? Sometimes just faking confidence can actually help. If you act confident, even when you're not sure, you'll start to feel more confident. It's like tricking your brain into believing it.
Yes, fake it till you make it. But also, remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. People will appreciate your efforts, and your confidence will grow the more you practice.
That's the key. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up and trying. And one final point on confidence: body language. It's not just what you say, but how you carry yourself.
Absolutely. Standing up straight, making eye contact, smiling, all of these things make you look more confident. And when you look confident, people listen to you more.
Totally. All right, let's move on to our next tip.
Tip number 2, vary your tone and pace. This is huge. We've all heard someone speak in a monotone voice, right? It's almost like they're reading from a script and you just zone out.
Yes. It's hard to stay engaged when someone's speaking like that, but when you mix up your tone and speed, suddenly you're much more engaging. you're much more alive in your speech.
That's exactly it. When you're excited, your voice naturally goes up in pitch and speed. But when you're explaining something important or serious, you slow down and deepen your voice to give more weight to what you're saying.
Yeah, for example, if you're telling a funny story, you might say, "And then I ran into this huge puddle, and splash, I was soaked." See how the excitement comes through with faster speech and a higher tone?
Exactly. But if you were explaining something, like giving instructions or describing a process, you might say, first you need to take the ingredients and measure them carefully, then combine them in a large bowl, a slower pace with a more serious tone.
That's right. Varying your pace and tone not only makes you sound more fluent, but it helps keep the listener's attention. If you speak too quickly the whole time, they might miss something important. But if you speak too slowly, it could sound like you're unsure.
Exactly. So try this out. Next time you're talking, notice if your tone is staying the same. Play around with it. Speed up when you're excited, slow down when you want to make a point. A slight change in tone or pace can make a huge difference.
And when you're explaining something tricky, pause for a second to give people time to think or absorb what you're saying.
Ah, yes, the power of the pause. Pausing right before an important point makes it sound much more dramatic, and it gives your listeners time to process what you said.
It's like a mini cliffhanger, you could say. And then I found the perfect solution to the problem. And pause. Now, everyone is hanging on to your next words. So, try using pauses. Not too long, just enough to add some impact.
All right, tip number 3, master your pronunciation. Now, let's be clear. You don't need to sound exactly like a native speaker to be understood, but you do want to make sure you're saying words clearly and correctly, especially those tricky sounds.
Yes, I think one of the hardest things for many English learners is mastering those tricky sounds like the th sound. Words like this, that, think, and through. They don't exist in a lot of other languages.
Yes, and it's important to get those sounds right. If you mispronounce a word too much, it can make communication harder. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to be clear.
Exactly. And the best way to improve your pronunciation is by listening. Listen to native speakers as much as you can, whether through movies, podcasts, or songs. Exercise cognitive overload.
Yes, and you know what else works? Shadowing. This is when you repeat what a native speaker says, trying to match their exact pronunciation, rhythm, and tone.
Right. And you can use apps that help with pronunciation. Some apps even let you record yourself and compare your pronunciation with a native speaker's. It's really useful for focusing on specific sounds.
Absolutely. Another thing you can do is pay attention to word stress. In English, certain syllables are stressed more than others. For example, in the word important, you stress the second syllable, important. Stressing the wrong syllable can make you sound unnatural.
Ooh, that's a great point, John. Word stress really helps with sounding more natural. And let's not forget connected speech. Native speakers don't say every word clearly. They blend words together. For example, what do you want to do often sounds like, what do you want to do?
That's right. So pay attention to connected speech. It will help you sound much smoother when speaking.
And don't be afraid to ask for feedback. If you're unsure about a certain word or sound, ask a native speaker or an advanced learner. Most people are happy to help.
Moving on to tip number 4. Use fillers naturally. Sarah, let's talk about fillers. You know those little words and sounds we throw into our sentences like like, you know, actually, and well.
Yes. Fillers are totally natural in spoken language. They help us think on our feet and keep the conversation flowing. But if you overuse them, it can make you sound less confident.
Exactly, but, you know, a little here or a like there can make you sound more natural. Native speakers do it all the time.
Definitely. It's important to use fillers sparingly, though. Think of them as seasoning. Too little, and the conversation might feel too robotic. Too much, and it can become distracting.
Exactly, but here's a fun trick. If you're not sure what to say next, pause for a moment, take a breath, and then continue. The pause can be just as powerful as a filler, and it gives you time to think.
Oh, I love that. Sometimes, instead of filling the space with just take a breath. It makes you sound even more confident because you're not rushing.
Yes, and when you do use fillers, try to do it naturally. For example, instead of saying, not something familiar to Algie, say, I am going to the store today. Say, so, I'm like going to the store today.
Exactly. Practice this in real conversations. It'll help you sound more fluent and comfortable.
And here's our final tip. Practice, practice, practice. There's no way around it. The more you practice speaking, the more fluent and natural you'll sound.
That's right. Even if you're shy or nervous, the more you push yourself to speak, the easier it will get. Start small. Chat with friends. Try speaking out loud when you're alone. Or find a conversation partner online.
And remember, every conversation is a chance to improve. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on communicating and getting your point across.
Absolutely. Whether you're practicing in front of the mirror with a language buddy or even in a formal setting like a class or workshop, every bit of practice makes you better.
So to sum up today's episode, confidence is key. Vary your tone and pace, work on your pronunciation, use fillers naturally, and most importantly, practice consistently.
Yes, and remember you're on this journey of improving your English, and with each step, you are getting better. Keep practicing, stay confident, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. We hope these tips help you speak like a pro.
And we'll be back soon with more tips and tricks. Until next time, keep practicing and keep having fun with your English.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot, and it helps me create more great content for you. See you in the next video.